What's up, guys? It's your girl Wintana, and you are tuned into another episode of the Videographer podcast. And this week we have an exciting guest because I think this is one of my. I don't want to say this because I don't want to get this wrong because I've been doing it for a long time. But I feel like this might be one of my first. I'm going to say one of my first musicians that are on the podcast. Yeah, it's kind of a big one.
It's a privilege for me, personally.
Let me do your intro. It's getting really hot in here as well, guys, so you're going to see us sweating throughout the episode. But today we're joined by Nigerian Australian producer, vocalist, sound engineer, and audio content producer at Triple J Unearthed, Jerry Agbinia, also known as IJALE.
Yeah.
What's up?
That was an intro.
You like that?
You hit all the.
I had to. I'm like, let me put some respect. Let me give him his flowers.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good. How are
yeah?
you?
I'm good. I'm hot.
I'm hot.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we're going to get through this.
Definitely.
Yeah. I was really excited, when your manager hit me up because, again, like I said, I haven't had an artist before, but also I love your music. I think it's very unique.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah. It actually means so much to me that, like, other black people in Melbourne are listening to my music. So that's nice. That's nice to hear.
Before we get into it, there's a lot that I want to get into. But I want to know where the name IJALE, is it IJALE, right? Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Where did it come from?
That is my middle name.
Okay.
It's my dad's elder brother's name. And I just learned this. In Nigeria, it means one day can change a man. So it's like pretty, it's a weighty name.
It's a waiting name?
A weighty name. Like it's got weight to it.
It's got like meaning to it.
Yeah.
So it says one day can change a man.
Yeah.
Which, how would you like interpret that?
I think like every decision that you make can kind of, have a ripple effect, I think.
Yeah.
So for me personally, especially right now, it's like, you're choosing the life that you deserve. You're choosing the person you want to be. So every decision should be geared towards getting there, kind of thing.
I love that. It's very deep. I love even African proverbs. Like when you hear how we're just very deep.
Yes.
And I love that there's like it holds weight and meaning.
Agreed.
So I like that. Okay, before we get into this episode, I'd like to do a little icebreaker on this podcast. So I don't know if you've been on TikTok and you've seen the trend, but there's a trend called "We Listen and We Don't Judge." Have you seen that?
I have. Yeah.
Okay, so there are a lot of couples that are doing this trend, right? And the whole purpose of couples doing it, it's supposed to be this light-hearted, we're creating a safe space for us to talk about the cute little things that we do that we don't want our partner to know, da-da-da-da-da. And some of these couples are just taking it too far. Like, I feel like you hate your partner. When I'm listening to it, it's things like, we listen and we don't judge. That time you were sleeping, do you remember when I accidentally like punched you in the face and really like smacked you in that area of your nose? And she's like, he's like, I did that on purpose. Or I have sexual fantasies about women all the time. Yeah, like all the time. And one girl was like, she actually stopped the challenge. Like, I actually can't do this anymore. Like, this is crazy. And there'll be challenge. What was another one that I heard? Another crazy one I heard was like, what was it? So, I can't remember. Why can't I remember it? But they were on that kind of, to be honest with you, when you're on your way home, sometimes I really hope you don't come home. Or I really don't want you to. It's like things where it sounds like you don't like your partner.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, break up.
That's what I'm thinking. So now I'm listening to this and I'm just like, what do you think? Do you think that these couples... Number one, it sounds like you don't need to be together.
Yeah.
Two, it's like, why do you feel like they think that it's okay to jump on a trend? Or do you think that there's not enough space in relationships for people that they feel like they can't be vulnerable and talk about these things? So they're like, let's make it like you're like, not for the regular person.
These people.
Yeah.
It sounds, I think people like, they take social media and stuff as an open forum. Yeah. Because everybody can see it, but that also doesn't mean that you can't say anything you would like. Like, people are too brazen.
Crazy. You're too confident. How are you supposed to go back after someone telling you I'm having fantasies about someone? Like, what are we supposed to do now?
I hope you don't come home.
Yeah. I hope you don't come home.
Nah.
I hope you. Then there's obviously the cute couples that do things like they actually are wholesome. Like you see, you have a healthy relationship. Like, do you remember that one time you and your family had an emergency? I stayed around the corner of the hole like for 5 hours because I'm like,
That's nice.
do you know what I mean? I know you love me. The other ones, it was getting really, really scary. But if you were in that situation, what would you do? If your couple confessed something to you and it was something that crazy, is that something you can laugh off in the moment and like let it go?
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I would go deadly silent to the point where it's a problem, and then I would just like take the lapel up my mic off very, very slowly and just leave. Like I would just bounce.
Put it down and then it's
Just leave.
time to go.
Yeah, because my emotions are not entertainment for you, for anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I don't know how you think a TikTok trend is something that you can just like lightheartedly just jump on and say some crazy shit.
It's too much. TikTok has changed some stuff.
What people will do for like clout and for like virality, I think is just really crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
But yeah, I don't know. I think for me, it's time to pack it up.
Definitely. You know, like I get therapy is expensive, but this is not the way.
This is not the way.
This is not the way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I wanted to touch on that because I'm like, this is getting scary.
I just got on TikTok, so I'm not like deeply ingratiated into that stuff, but I've seen enough to be like, this is.
I'm judging you. What do you mean we listen and we don't judge? You're being judged.
Yeah, you're clearly being judged by so many people in the comment section.
And that's another thing. Like you're comfortable to jump online in front of millions because these videos are getting like millions of views, to jump on and like I guess embarrass your partner for some likes. It just makes me like, I don't know, I think if you're at that stage of your relationship, let it go. 100%. It's okay to walk away.
100%.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of it's staged. There's some things that are just too wild.
You think so? Yeah. I think there's a lot of that couple stuff that's staged. I don't know. Some of these ones though, like it was like the like what, you do that, like that's crazy, and then like you could tell they're pissed off, but it's like, no, we listen and we don't judge.
And then
if you don't get if you don't get out of my face right now, I don't know.
I guess I'll just suppress this emotion, because that's what it is at the end of the day. Like we listen and we don't judge. Okay, we listen, and then I'll just put this
and
in
we
my
break
back
and we break up though. Facts.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I just don't think it's that like, it's okay to be single. I think that's a message that people need to. Yeah.
Exactly. At least you can get on TikTok and not embarrass somebody else.
Simple.
It's simple.
All right, let's get into your story, your upbringing. I think there's so much. Even in the intro, I've kind of mentioned that you're very multifaceted. You're an artist, vocalist. You're a producer. I know you are also a sound engineer, and you do producing for other artists as well, like for their music. And also you work at Triple J.
Yes.
So you're also like in the professional space as well in music.
Triple J Unearthed.
Triple J Unearthed,
but
sorry.
Like there's like a lot of yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Good that you highlighted that.
I mean, yeah.
So let's take it back to the beginning where you started. Where you grew up in Sydney? Were you born in Sydney?
I was born in Melbourne, moved to Sydney when I was 3.
Okay.
And then lived there for most of my life, and then came back in like 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what was you're Nigerian?
Yes.
Yeah. So what was your relationship with music growing up? And just like what's your earliest memories of that?
Earliest memories is probably like listening to Michael Jackson and James Brown at home. My dad like had this like ridiculously large cassette tape player and a vinyl player and stuff. He still got it because he doesn't like to throw anything away.
Yeah.
And I think that was just it. Like, you know, we'd go to like Flemington markets, or no, Paddy's markets.
Okay.
In our beat up car, and we'd just like listen to the same
So your dad was big music head.
He's like not a big music head, but like when he likes something, he likes something. You know what I mean? But I think that was the earliest memories of like listening to music and finding enjoyment from it. And then like I was like 6 and 7, and all of a sudden I like realized that like if I would listen to like a Lady Gaga song on the radio, I would like be thinking of harmonies to whatever she was singing in my head.
Really?
And then I was like, oh, okay, that's a little bit weird. And then I just kept on kind of like...
What do you mean thinking of harmonies?
Okay, so You know that song that Lady Gaga has, Poker Face?
Yeah.
There's a Kid Cudi and Kanye West remix to
Yeah.
Poker Face, right?
Okay.
And they use like, I guess like they interpolate the chorus into a chorus for this like rap song they did, right?
Yeah.
So whenever that would happen, like it goes oh 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 oh
Yeah.
oh, and I would do like a harmony.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's
Your
like-
own harmony to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Got you, yeah.
Not like out loud because my dad would be like, but in my head.
What do you mean your dad was like music not something that they
He encouraged a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like we would like my elder brothers and my elder sister would like do like clarinet and piano and stuff like that. But you know,
when it comes to music.
I don't think he was like, this is a viable career for
Yeah,
you kind
yeah.
of thing. Yeah. Yeah. I think he just encouraged us to like not get in trouble because we lived in a pretty rough area when we were growing
Whereabouts in Sydney did you grow up?
up. Macquarie Fields.
Is that west? Is that
Yes. Southwest.
southwest? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't really know Sydney that well, but I'm starting to know areas like I hear about Parramatta and Blacktown. So like the
College
west
Hill.
is similar to the Melbourne. I feel like west side is like rougher area, lower socioeconomic, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So I feel in that sense it's similar.
I think
Am I
so.
wrong?
Yeah, like when we first moved there, like we were the only black people who were there. So there was a lot of Samoans, a lot of Tongans, like islanders and stuff. But also like in the place that we lived, there happened to be like a school that was community where like everybody from the community would come, but it was also selective. So like there was like a draw in of a bunch of parents and kids who were, I guess, like there for like higher learning. Like,
Yeah.
they were more academically inclined, for example. So there was like a lot of like just mixing of people.
Yeah.
In that way. Yeah, which was cool, I think.
I think
Looking
it's
back on it.
yeah, for sure. Well, so when it comes to I guess you now stepping into music, when was the point where you were like, I actually want to pursue this professionally? When did IJALE come to life?
That's like winding kind of road. After school, I did architecture because I loved drawing and stuff. So they were like, all right, let's use this for something practical.
Studied it in uni?
Studied at uni, got my
Okay.
bachelor's degree, all that. But during the degree, like I would be going out to gigs and stuff with my mates and stuff, like being exposed to all this different kind of music. And then me and one of my homies, we started this like duo. We made like electronic, like Flying Lotus kind of stuff, like really, really jazzy, really experimental stuff. And then as we progressed on that, I just started to like just rap over these instrumental stuff.
Yeah.
And then like I started to see a real like reaction when we would play these shows.
Yeah.
And then
Sorry to cut you off. Was that all self-taught, like the producing side of it and everything?
yeah, yeah. I think like I don't know why, like after I finished architecture, I was looking for a job and
As an architect or
as an
like-
architect,
yeah.
yeah. And then like the market was not having it. I mean, I probably wasn't looking hard enough to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
But, like,
You're like, my heart is in
I
music
did
low
use-
key, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be doing music through school and stuff, so I already had the programs and stuff, so I would just be playing around
Yeah.
a bunch. And so I kind of taught myself from YouTube and like Reddit and stuff like that. And then it just kind of went from there.
Yeah.
Basically.
And so, yeah, when did you start becoming, when did your, I guess, like your actual, like when did IJALE come? Was that during that time?
Sort
You just
of
started
like
producing and then performing?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I would say that like the first couple of songs that we had when we were doing this instrumental thing in Sydney was like where I first realized, oh, this is like something that I can really express myself through rather than just like hiding behind this gear and pressing a bunch of buttons and stuff. And then I moved to Melbourne in 2016. And by then I was like, all right, I'm gonna
take this seriously.
this, yeah.
Yeah.
and around that time I was like sampling a bunch of really old West African music and stuff, and like learning about music from the continent and stuff like that. And that's why it's so like prevalent in my music. It's always gonna be because I found my identity through like that research of just like cool samples and like Fela Kuti and Tony Allen and all these other people. And that's how it started, basically.
That's really cool. Like it actually pushed you to learn about your own cultural identity as well.
Yeah, because I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know, a lot of the electronic music that we were making, whilst it was cool as shit, it wasn't, it didn't have a sense of place for me exactly, or like I couldn't identify to it like that. And then I just, like kind of just wanted to find a point of difference, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, I just had like a random fun fact. It was the guy the Coldplay guy. What's his name?
Chris Martin?
He lived in Africa.
Yeah.
And his music is like it's inspired by. Is it Tanzania that he lived in?
I think so. I don't quote me on that, but
Neither.
I just found out about this recently.
Shout out TikTok. I was like, did you
Shout
find
out
out
Chris
there?
Martin though, like
Yeah, 100%. Like I think, as in, like I said, shout out TikTok because that's where I found out the information. But shout out to him and how he like pays tribute to obviously where he grew up, and he's taking a lot of inspiration from the music there.
100%.
That was so cool.
Like, every single show he's done in Sydney, he's brought out like support artists who are from Australia, women of color, like just giving them moments.
Yeah,
like, that's cool as shit.
That's very cool. It's very, very like it's just. Yeah, I thought it was just cool as well, like just seeing where he got his music style from and everything. But for you, like even now that you've taken, during that time, taking music seriously, was it, I think just the creative struggle, right? Of like trying to go into a space and like go just full forward into what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
How did you, like, was it hard to pursue music professionally, especially in a country like Australia where there aren't a lot of opportunity, or it feels like there aren't a lot of opportunities or exposure for Black artists, for people of color? Like, was that something that you were thinking about in the back of your mind while you were pursuing music?
Yes and no. Like I think the nightlife culture in Sydney back then was just so lit that like I wanted to be a part of it in some way. Like there would just be all these warehouse parties and like all of these different styles of music, and you were really spoilt for choice. So I was like, I want to be a part of this in some way.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you start doing it long enough and you're like, okay, so where is this going? Kind of thing. And I started learning all these different things, honestly, because I was like poor, didn't have like enough money to pay other people to do the things.
Yeah.
So that just ended up happening that way. And then...
As in you started diversifying what you could do because you were learning all the things for yourself? Yeah.
So I was like, you know, editing all this stuff, learning all this stuff in these different programs. So obviously, like, you can do podcasting, you can do, you know, film scoring, this is that, X, Y, Z. And like in the household that I grew up in, like it's always very like learning based. My dad's a professor. Every single one of us went through to uni and stuff like that. So I almost just went about it in a like educational kind of tertiary kind of way. Went to uni, moved to Melbourne because I went to a uni, shout out Collards.
Shout out.
And that's where I was like, okay, look, let me get a degree in music so my dad can get off my back, kind of thing.
Oof,
Yeah.
that the parents, you know, in my household, it is education. African parents in general, it's education, but also money. It's very money orientated. And it's like, okay, cool, you're doing this. Okay, cool, you've got this going on. How much are you making?
Facts.
And I think it's very, money oriented in a way. I think more my dad. My mom's like, you know, take your time, do what you need to do. But my dad is very much like, okay, if it's not making money, what are we doing? What's not making sense? And so there's two things that I'm learning there. I'm learning to not center money because I think especially with something you're building, it's going to take time.
Yes.
It's not going to be, there are one-hit wonders or like people that, like overnight success stories, but I think for the most part it's about like building and learning and all of that stuff. But I think it can really like mess with you mentally when you feel like, okay, I'm putting all this energy into something and I just feel like I'm like every time it's like dead end.
Yeah.
Or I'm not, you know, if I did take this route where I studied uni and I just went there and maybe I could have been a little bit further. So that's why I was asking, like, was it a challenge for you stepping into like full creativity and not, but I guess like you answered it by saying you're diversifying what you're doing as well.
Yeah, I think like inadvertently I was doing that. I didn't realize I was doing that until it came a time when I was like, oh, I can like, people started reaching out to me for different things. I was like, oh yeah, I'll do that. And like, I just kind of like said yes and figured it out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then all of a sudden I had like different parts of my resume that I put together. I was like, oh, that looks like a pretty fire portfolio. Like, let me start applying for jobs.
Yeah.
And then that's how I got the job that I got now. Like,
Nice
you know?
segue, because I love
Hey.
that. You helped me out there.
You're welcome.
I love that because obviously I saw that you have your role at Triple J Unearthed as an audio content producer, which is just really cool. We don't see a lot of, I feel like, I want to say Black people on the professional side of these industries, you know? So how did you land the role? What has it been like?
I landed the role, I think, like coming out of COVID.
Yeah.
I was like just doing shit kicking jobs for a while, like just like data entry and stuff.
Yeah.
Whilst doing my course at Collarts, graduated, and then COVID hit not long after that.
Yeah.
So it was just a weird time to be looking for work because
Yeah.
it's like,
What are we doing?
what are we doing?
Yeah.
And then it was slowly coming out, and I was in this like interview process for ages. I was living with my dad, and like I was just so down bad. But when it finally came through that I got it, like it was mainly because they had heard of me because I had uploaded my music onto Triple J Unearthed.
You can do that.
Yeah. That's what. Okay. That's
Okay,
what the whole thing is.
let people know how.
Okay,
Yeah.
So Triple J Unearthed is a independent music platform.
Yeah.
It's like all independent, all Australian music, and it's sick.
Yeah.
Basically, you upload your music, every song gets listened to, and then if people like your music, they'll play it on the digital radio platform that we have.
So cool.
They'll send it up the platform, and it'll go to Triple J. It'll get played on the radio and stuff like that. And it's like it's kind of cool. So like I saw audio content producer Triple J, and I was like, gang, let me do this. Got my resume together, and at this point I'd done like a short film music for the short film. I did one season of this podcast that I like put everything into, and my music. So that was my resume.
Yeah.
And I'd happened to have had like the email address of the guy who was like hiring.
Yeah,
because like, you know, when you release a song, you email the people, be like, hey, I've got a song coming out. This is my bio, this blah, blah, blah. So I had a bunch of the contacts to reach out to. So I was like, hey, letting you know, I applied for the job that you're currently intaking for. Look out for my resume.
Nice.
And then it just like happened.
And it just happened.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, like my artist perspective was something that they wanted, like from their end, in terms of the choices they made, the music that they would try and champion, X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
I mean, well, you were hustling in the background too, trying to find ways to like get your foot in the door as well.
I didn't know what it was for.
But it came around.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's sick. I love to hear how, like, you know, you need to also be proactive in a lot of ways as well. Because again, like sometimes it's gatekeepy. Sometimes it's like you're not always going to. So it's like how you were very strategic in finding ways to get yourself in front of the people. So shout out to you. How has it been working there?
It's been, like best job I've ever had.
Yeah.
It's the only job where I'm able to use the stuff that I learned for free for money.
Okay.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool.
What kind of work? So as an audio, so you're a producer there. What does the day-to-day look like?
So my main obligation is to interview and edit and make packages for the Unearthed Feature Artist of the Week. So we choose one artist every week to kind of shine a light on.
Yeah.
So I, sit them down, interview them, ask them about their career, their come-ups, kind of like what you're doing right now. And then I'll chop that up, and then we make packages just to make some noise about them for the next week. So that's the thing that I do every week.
Yeah.
And then after that, like we just listen to a bunch of music. And any stuff that comes onto the platform, you have to listen to it from start to finish. And there's like a lot of. Can we? Okay, look. Actually, this is a good conversation to have. I need to be put onto it. I like your music. I really do. I'm not just saying this because you're here. You know. You heard that.
Am I not? I don't know. No, I'm just joking. I actually do like your music. There aren't a lot of. I don't go out, and I feel like a lot of Australians don't do this, and we need to do it more. Where we need to listen to Aussie artists.
Yes.
And we don't.
Yes.
Where can we find them? Where can we filter through? Because sometimes, like you said, there is some music out there and it's just like, okay, you know, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
And I feel like every time I go to explore, maybe there's a single someone will put out, everyone sharing, I'll listen to that, cool, and then I kind of leave it there.
Yeah.
Where can we go? So Triple J Unearthed is where we can go to. Where else can we go? How do we dig through and find the music?
I'm not trying to do like an ad focus segment on Triple J on Earth, but it's a great place to go. But I think like it's just more about like following the community. Like I think Spotify and Apple Music and stuff, like problems notwithstanding, they suggest people to you from the people you listen to. Like and usually the homies that I work with are usually the ones that are suggested from when you listen to my music.
Okay.
So, other people are listening to XYZ.
Yeah.
And
Got
just
you.
like it's just like a leapfrogging thing kind of
Yeah,
thing.
and you just keep digging and
And like tapping in. Like if you like that person's music, just like follow them on socials and and then more of it will come to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think we need to do more of that in Australia. I think we're always kind of going to like obviously the UK now, but
Yes.
US in the past. Do you think that Australian artists do you think that there's something that you can say where Aussie artists have got their own unique sound
Definitely.
that is unique to Australia?
Yes. 100%. I think like just by virtue of the accent and the way that or artists that I like are trying to use their accent in ways that don't sound shit. It's hard.
Just
It's
blunt?
hard. It's
Yeah.
hard. So can I?
Yeah.
There's so many ways for an Aussie accent to sound really, really bad in rap, but people are making it work.
Okay.
And just by the accent, it's definitely working. I think there's something about like the weather here. There's something about just the nature of
Being
Australia
Australian,
being laid back, you know, being confident and stuff that's in the music now. Like, and the sounds that we choose are very sunny. I think there's a different vibe, just like UK kind of has very cold and maybe melancholy kind of stuff in a lot of the things that come out of London.
That's an interesting
like
way to like. That's an interesting perspective. Like weather and all that kind of
That's
stuff
what
that
I've
can affect it.
pictured.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I need to listen to more Aussie artists and see, because I think for me a lot of times I also hear the accent change and this and that, but I also know that we're growing in so many ways. I think as a culture we're seeing a lot more people have their own platforms, artists come out, like the culture is brewing and you know people are expressing themselves more. But in the past, I don't blame us, we're cherry picking from the rest of the world because we're trying to find, I guess, like community and solidarity, like just a common ground. But we don't have it here yet.
Yeah, so we're looking to places where we have like other diaspora.
Yeah.
Obviously the UK, obviously the US, like
Yeah.
obviously back home, like I get that. Yeah, for sure. And we're still like, you know, working to develop those names where people start looking to us. You know, but it's happening. I really
It definitely,
do think
it's happening. It's happening for sure. How would you say working at Triple J Unearthed has influenced your personal music career?
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, first and foremost, I don't have enough time to do the stuff. I work 9 to 5 now, so it's like less. There was a learning curve that I had to do. It's like, all right, every single shred of time outside of work is going to be like
For your music.
For the music.
Yeah.
So it took a lot of consolidation of my life and being like, okay, you know, I'm not going to just sit around and I can't binge watch like I used to watch, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But also like, I think it's a cool thing to be exposed to so many different genres of music just by having to listen to it and seeing what's popping.
Yeah.
And it's opened me up to a lot more things that I didn't think that I would like.
Like what?
I really like punk rock. I mean, I always used to like punk rock actually, but seeing punk rock from Australia and seeing how different it is from the stuff that comes out from the UK and US and the way people are blending genres and stuff, because like we're coming to like culture is just so homogenous now. So it's like showing up that way in the music. I like how people are kind of like playing with genres and playing with styles and sounds in Australia because we're so young, we can do whatever we want essentially.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to do the same. Like, I think I'm just trying to be more playful, trying to be a little bit more like elastic with how I put Afro elements into other stuff, and just to be like, okay, like there's Afro elements, but it doesn't have to be like
Just Afro. It doesn't have to be, or just black. Like I think, even I'm guilty of it. Like I can't sit here and lie. Like I don't explore genres enough. Do you know what I mean? I think I stay to what's not even what's safe, but like what I know, what I enjoy. It's always
that's everybody.
yeah. And the thing is though, like I think there's the black genres. Like we know it's like the R&Bs, the Afrobeats, hip hop. So yeah, like it'd be interesting. I think like that high school, end of high school era, I was like listening to a bit of like, you know, Panic at the Disco, that kind of, and I loved it. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. But it was like now I feel like I need to explore a little bit more. I think it's just about not being so lazy.
You said it.
I said it. I'm lazy.
No, it's like, but you're like, you know, I would say like 90% of the people who listen to music on Spotify, they're waiting for the algorithm to do the thing.
Yeah.
And that's cool, but there's so much more to be found that the algorithm won't pick up on like that.
I know.
And I think it's like, you know, like punk rock and all that stuff, they have their audiences.
Yeah.
Like you don't really need to jump over there and support that. But if you like R&B, if you like people who like make music like Georgia Smith and stuff and Sample the Great and Lil Sims, there are people here who you can rock with, you know what I mean?
You have to put us on.
I will.
You have to put us on, yeah. Yeah, I wanted to talk about your new single, so Level 30, featuring Soda Boy.
Boy Soda,
sorry. I literally wrote that too, so my bad for you for butchering that.
Soda Boy's hard, actually.
Soda Boy's cool.
I would listen to Soda Boy.
All right, listen, there's a line. I had to take a line out of this before we broke down the actual single.
Okay.
So you said it's contagious, the way I saunter on the stage and make you give a portion of your pay, captivating.
Yeah.
And then you go on to say, look at how the second generation nigga made a way.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
It gave me the song was giving like kind of like I'm flexing, I'm leveling up.
Yes.
You know, like I love the energy that it was giving.
Thank you.
And I wanted you to
vibes.
I was listening to it, I'm like, okay, like talk about it.
I mean, that song came out like so naturally. We were just at the studio. Boy Soda lives in Sydney.
Yeah.
And I think it was the first time we'd linked up in Melbourne. We'd linked up in Sydney a while ago. And then, it was the first studio session we had. It was just super quick, bing, bang, boom. My homie was making the beat. I had to go to dinner, so I made my verse really quick. And then Boy Soda laid like his first verse, his version of the verse. And that's how it stayed for like 2 years.
What was like for you what was the feeling that you were feeling when you just put the verse out there?
It was...
Or where were you at the time? You know what I mean? Because it sounds very much, if this is what you just put on paper straight away, how were you feeling when you dropped it?
I mean, I was feeling really good.
Yeah.
I think I was, you know, just like feeling good in the studio space that I have. And I had homies over. I had a place where I could like make music with my homies. And I had all this new gear that I'd never had before. So I was kind of feeling myself like, and I was feeling comfortable in that new space. Yeah. So when Boy came over and I had all these people in the studio and stuff, like it just felt good to have like my own space that felt like a playground. Yeah. And it was the first time I was working with a bunch of people, and like with rap, like you have to work quick. Yeah. To catch the vibe. So I was trying to specifically do that more. And that's what came out. It was cool.
It's really cool. I really loved it. I loved it. I loved the I listened to the Bubble as well. I thought that was cute. Very Lover Boy.
Yes.
Yeah. Can we get into that briefly as well?
Yeah, I mean, like the whole single run that I've done this year was just trying to show different colors, basically. Yeah. Like
different things that you're going through in your life as well, or is it just something that you feel at the time? Do you know what I mean? Is it like these are your personal experiences, or these? Definitely. Okay, yeah. Yeah,
I'm like I'm very autobiographical when I write. I'm trying to be less that. I'm trying to like put myself in fictional stories and tell people how I would go through it. For example, like I feel like that would open me up a bit, but I'm very autobiographical. I can't help that. Yeah. But just like this bubble was basically like talking about how I was with my partner all through lockdown, and we were the only people that we knew that we could speak to, really. And that just like, because we'd known each other for like 12 years before that. So we were like homies.
Oh.
And then we were lockdown bays. And
Wait, lockdown homies or lockdown bays?
Lockdown bays. Like we
How do you go? How do you get promoted from homie to bay and then lockdown? What happened?
Hey, she fit the description. She was just,
Okay.
she was, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like we'd known each other for so long. So it was just a thing where we just trusted each other.
Yeah.
Like beyond other people, so much beyond other people.
Yeah.
And then like we, hooked up.
Yeah.
And then lockdown happened. And then we're like, oh crap, like I guess you're my, what do they call it at the time? Designated.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
You know
The
what I
person,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah. So and then that happened, and like for those 2.5, maybe 3, I don't know how long it was.
Yeah.
We're the only people we saw. So this bubble was about that, like
Yeah.
just like shutting everything out and just like focusing on that one person.
It was a very beautiful song.
Thank you.
And it was even in a situation like that, like were you guys friends when lockdown started and then you kind of progressed into a relationship?
Yeah, like we met each other through when I was in uni in architecture, like years and years ago, and we'd partied together, and she moved here and then I moved here. So like just our journeys were like weirdly aligned and stuff. And we're thinking about getting together like ages ago, and then we're like,
okay, so the thought had come up before. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. But she was in uni and I was just about to come into uni. We're like, I actually don't have time for that.
Yeah. That's very mature.
Very mature.
That's very, very mature, because I think a lot of people would just get into it and then it not work out. And then like there are a lot of stories like that. We
did some very immature things in the interim, but like, I think we went about it.
Yeah.
Well.
Interesting. I have some more questions about like, we're going to get into more stuff.
Okay.
I wanted to know, for upcoming artists, what would your piece of advice be as someone who is also working in the professional space? And, maybe there are artists that want to get into that, or, want to, I guess, like put their music out but don't know where to start. Yeah. What would you say?
I think work on a bunch of music and don't do anything else until you have like a large bag of songs that you can be consistent with when you start this journey, whatever you're doing. Have like 8, 9, 10 songs that you love and you rock with. Then get everything behind it together. Like, and if you don't like doing the stuff in the back end, you better learn how to like it.
Yeah.
Because it's important. So, write yourself a good bio that sounds good. Think about who you are whilst writing that bio. So the mission is like front and center when you talk to randos. Like when you talk to people who only have 30 seconds to care about you or talk about you before you play the song.
Yeah.
Then like obviously good press shots and all the other stuff that every creative knows. But I think it's like being consistent. It's like, getting all the ducks in the row to be consistent and to make sure you keep making solid and regular good impressions with the people you try and reach. I think
that's good advice too, because it's practical. It's letting them know that they need to have everything prepared as well in the background. What about building a solid fan base? How do you build a community that is, like, because I feel like I've said this before, I don't really think it is about reach and having like huge numbers sometimes, but I think sometimes, a lot of times now I'm seeing it's about cultivating a community that really fucks with what you do. Yeah. So how did you do that? Like build a solid fan base?
I mean, I'm still doing that. Still doing that. I think things are changing so much that the music industry kind of doesn't know what's going on. So like people who are popping off right now are making it big on TikTok. And the music industry has kind of like rushed those trends. So if you are popping on TikTok, you'll probably get a deal and things like that. But at the same time, I think people who last like turn it into a solid community through those avenues. So I think like doing stuff on the ground, playing gigs, showing out to other people's gigs, that'll get like your community, your people who can see you over and over again, like they'll see that you're a real person who's really about it. And then there's like another level on social media. Like I'm realizing, and this is a thing that I have to realize now, like I love making music videos and I love making like artful stuff, But honestly, nobody gives a fuck about that.
No, they do. They do. Trust me, even me, when I was doing the research, right? I want to see what kind of, you've got an artistic style, even the aesthetic of what you do. People do care about the passion behind it as well.
I will say that, yes.
We do,
Yeah,
especially looking at, from an artist perspective. But then I guess on the other side, content needs to be contenting. You need to be consistent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so to make it consistent and make it sustainable, it's way more impactful to show people how you live on your regular, and be consistent, be consistently showing people parts of your personality.
Yeah.
I think. So that's what I'm trying to do, way more of that now. I used to hate social media. It's just not natural to me.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah.
So I'm learning how to do that. But also it's when you have a thing that you're really proud about, really not being shy about that. Put it in people's faces and say it over and over and over and over again, because if you think it's dope, odds are there's going to be a lot more people.
100%. And it's a lot of times it's just getting the eyes, because the way social media works, it makes us feel like people don't care, or if you're not getting the numbers and stuff, but it's just about getting in front of the right people.
Exactly.
And that's by doing it over and over and over again.
Yeah, definitely. But also not only doing it over and over again, but doing it once, looking at what you've learned from that, how that's performed, and then doing it again with new perspective. Always use it as research and development kind of thing. Just keep leveling up and learning what works for you, essentially.
Yeah. I love that advice. So
I'm still trying to.
Yeah, but I feel like we're all constantly learning, and the way things are changing. It's exciting though, how we talk about Australia's culture is growing, and then there's a lot more space for it. I think it's just cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. It's just about finding what works for you.
Definitely.
Is what I'm learning myself as well.
100%.
And not being, I think a lot of times you think it's cringe and you're I don't want to put myself out there and this and that, but it gets to a point where it just becomes, it's just growing pains. Once you grow out of that awkward stage, it becomes something that you do.
100%. Yeah. It's I don't know, I was watching this video the other day where someone was talking about the image you have of yourself based on other people. And you automatically sometimes think that people hate you because there's a little part of yourself that's not sure about yourself.
Facts.
But really, nobody hates you.
No one cares.
No, nobody.
Actually, you're not that important.
Exactly.
The amount of time. Yeah.
If they don't care, they will just move on.
Yeah.
And only people who have some serious issues going on with them will say some snide comment. But if they don't like your stuff, they'll just move on. They won't think anything of you. And then when people actually like you, they'll tune in to you and continue that. So don't worry so much about what you're not getting in terms of engagement. Really focus on the people who are actually tapping in.
Yeah. And focus on your own, building that's one thing I've really, this year, I realized how I become, it's in a group, when I'm around people I know, and the people know me, and it's okay, they know what I'm doing, this and that. I feel very comfortable to just talk about what I do. When I'm around complete strangers and I have to introduce myself and talk about what I do, it's almost everything I do is this little thing that I do, and I don't really know how to talk about it. And
it's going okay.
And it's just are you that? It is an insecurity, and it's this thing that it's about building my own self-confidence and really believing in myself. And so I was this year I'm going to just invest into talking myself through it, and challenging every thought that a negative thought that I have, intrusive thought, with the truth. Because a lot of times it's you're just making this shit up. You're actually just, no one hates you. What you're doing is relevant. And our minds can trick us to think the opposite, obviously, right?
Definitely.
So I'm trying to get into the practice of every time I have those negative thoughts, challenge it with the truth, and then just build on your own confidence, basically.
100%.
Because it's, especially in an industry like this, you need to be able to back yourself and double down on everything that you're doing.
That's why the people who are on social media are talking as if their audience are people who are close friends, because they're able to talk their shit to their close friends, and it adds a certain level of validity to what you're saying. If you look like you back it,
okay, cool.
Yeah. It's oh, okay, sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Repost. yeah, you can do that in a lot of industries, anything that you're passionate about. I think it's just, you have to have that belief. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Easier said than done, but
100%. Yeah. Okay, I want to get into the next segment. This segment is called Bitter or Sweet.
okay.
So I'm going to give you a couple scenarios.
Can I have one of
you're-
these, like,
yeah, that's
these
yours.
things? Okay,
That's
cool.
I was about to go give it to you, but I was like, let me
Alright,
finish
cool,
this.
cool, cool.
You know, you could have been fanning yourself the whole time
Yeah,
as well.
I was watching you, was jealous about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So basically, I'll give you a couple scenarios and you're going to vote, bitter or sweet. First one, bitter or sweet, women and men can't be friends.
Okay, let me clarify the context of what bitter and sweet means.
Okay.
So bitter means
Disagree.
now we can't be friends.
Yeah. Bitter
Okay.
means we disagree. Sweet means
No,
we
they
agree.
can be friends.
They can be friends.
Yes,
Can you give us
definitely.
a bitter or sweet? You've got your paddle.
Yeah,
Sweet?
definitely.
I don't know.
I think it's definitely possible with emotional maturity and transparency. Yes, I think it's possible. I think it's like something that men have to be about from jump. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
I think they have to see humans as just humans.
Humans.
Yeah, you should see women as people who like aren't a conquest or an object or a plaything. Like that's
That's a maturity talking.
yeah.
That's a lot of maturity, emotional intelligence. I think every time the reason why I'm just like, this is kind of bitter to me, I do feel like they can be. I have friends who are friends with guys and it's just platonic, right? But I know if that guy had a chance, he would shoot.
Yes.
And a lot of times I've had friends in the past that were guys, men, and every single time they shot. It was always like sly, like a little slick comment, or sometimes it was very much like, just like, I want to take you out, and it's when did we get here? Because I thought we were chilling,
Yeah.
So it just makes it very weird. I feel like from my personal experiences and from just things I perceived or like observed, whatever, from people around me, I feel like men will always, they might, out of respect for the relationship, the friendship, keep it platonic.
Yeah.
But I think that deep down, if the opportunity presented itself, they would. Whereas women can just be like, that could just be my homie. That's just a friend.
I definitely agree. Like women have more control in that regard. But I also will say like that if a man is deciding to not shoot his shot for the sake of the relationship, that is a level of emotional maturity. I think I'm not gonna discount that.
Yeah.
Although, if you're saying as soon as gal is free, then you're like, let me shoot. It's a bit icky. Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah. It's
I
a
don't
bit
know. I just I think guys are funny in that
I
way.
have faith in us though. I'm still saying sweet. I'm still saying
I have
sweet.
faith in you guys too. I'm going to give you that.
Good.
But I think I'm just going to stick to bitter because, my experiences and what I've seen.
Fair
Come
enough.
on, men.
Fair
We could
enough.
do better. All right. Next one is judging someone based on their past, bitter or sweet.
Ooh. I'm going to say bitter.
Is that is that what you truly believe, or is that what you think you should be saying?
I think that judging someone based on their past is a human instinct. It's all we know of that person.
Yeah.
Right? So we really can't help it. In
Yeah.
terms of self-preservation, we can't help it.
Yeah.
But if you want to, move forward in life and experience new things, you can't just think that everything's going to be the same all the time. So altruistically, I'm going to say
Bitter.
bitter.
I'm going to say this is not my opinion of judging someone based on their past. This is, would I judge someone based on their past, bitter or sweet?
Right.
And
okay.
that's
Yeah.
what I mean. So
Okay,
would
understood.
you judge someone based on their past?
No.
You
no,
wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No, I wouldn't. How
That's why for me,
how
I'm just-
recent? How recent?
That's what I'm saying,
How
you know?
recent in the past? That's what I'm saying.
It could be in the last 5 years.
Ooh, a lot can happen in 5 years. A lot can happen in 5 years. I'm still going to say bitter. I'm going to say, like, you don't have to judge anybody based on their past, but you can note their trends and decide to keep yourself clear from hurt because of their past.
Yeah,
You can be like, go with God.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But
It depends. Do you know what it is? I'm gonna say bitter.
Uh-huh.
All right, that's the truth. But I feel like in scenarios where if it's gonna directly affect me, for example, I want to date this guy, and I've just heard like this. He's been here. It would affect the way that I see him.
of course.
Like I don't think I could, or a friend. If a girl came into like we're cool, but I heard like she's the type of girl. She's not a girl's girl. She be taking, she really talks behind your back. She doesn't have it's just like your interest at heart. Your best interest at heart is not there.
Yeah.
I'm judging her. Actually, like I think.
But are you judging her based on their past experiences, or you're judging based on what others have said about them?
That's a good
See,
point.
we don't have experience
I'm
yet.
judging her based on what others have said, which is hard because how else am I supposed to know?
100%.
Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
you go into a new office, a new workplace, and someone's
True.
like, "Yeah, the manager's crazy," and then you're just like, already you've stained the way that I see the manager, right?
Definitely,
but your
definitely.
experience is fine with that. You haven't had a bad experience yet, but then they do something to you, and you're like, "I knew it."
Yeah. See, it's something that we have to use sometimes to protect ourselves.
So then should we be judging people based on our personal experiences, or does that make us foolish?
Man, it's never cut and dry. It's always going to be case by case because it's going to be like where we're at in life. If we're willing to, trust beyond, or if we just got hurt by that exact behavior.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I literally don't have time for that right now.
I don't have time for that. But then I don't know, because I don't know. It's hard. If I was to, let's bring it back to dating, and my experiences with them 3 dates in have been great, and someone's like, "Oh, you're dating so and so." Oh yeah. He's there's a little bit of this and this going on, or I've heard this before. I guess in that situation, what would annoy me is I hate being in a situation where other people can talk about where I'm at and who I'm with, and I don't like that.
Insufferable. I
find that really frustrating. I don't like it. It's almost a turn off for me.
Yes.
But if I've had a great experience with this person, I might just keep seeing how it goes for a while until I guess like they show their true colors, or whatever it is.
That's the mature thing to do. But like, I think that will still be knocking around in the back of your head sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, or at least might take a little bit to for you to not keep it front of mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is fair.
Yeah. So it's a bitter and sweet. I'm gonna say it's a bitter and sweet.
It's like
it's a half.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move into the last segment.
Okay.
So this is a dilemma. Every week we get sent in dilemmas from our listeners.
Cool.
And this one is a sweet one. It's bittersweet, I guess. Why is it difficult to make African friends? I have moved here from interstate in Australia and find many are very cliquey and only interested to speak to you if they have something to gain from you. Basically opportunistic. I'm open to making friends of any ethnicity, but I thought it would be nice to be able to connect with Africans when I moved to Melbourne as an adult. What should I do?
Damn. I feel that.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think in the creative industry too, there's definitely some clickiness.
Yeah. Do you feel like Melbourne is very clicky?
Yes, I do. But like not in a bad way. I think we just all have a certain amount of time and a certain amount of time to spend on the people we care about, so it's fine. But I do think that like we should all recognize that a little bit and maybe come together like a little bit more. But that's a tough one because I feel that. I think what would I
how would you advise this
how would
person?
I advise this person?
I guess you moved here from Sydney, but you had already been here before. Did you feel like you had a community that you could connect to when you first moved to Melbourne in 2016, or the second time when you came back?
No.
So how did you, like now I'm sure you've got your own people here and everything. How did you how did you build that community?
that.
Yeah.
I think I kept going to the things. I think Africans are, by virtue, are just a little bit more protective of themselves and of their energy. Like
100%. We're so suspicious.
we're so suspicious.
Why are you trying to get close to me?
Exactly.
She's doing a lot right now.
Exactly. She's doing a lot.
She's doing a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I just met you. I'm not going to give you my Instagram handle, but like, I think if you keep gravitating towards things that you are passionate about, like events that you like, you know, artists that you like, keep going to those gigs, this and that. Like, people who are there and people who are continuing to be there time and time again will see your face time and time again.
Yeah, that's good advice.
You know what I mean? And then, like, when you're at a point, like, and you aren't afraid to do that and make that connection, they aren't so afraid, because you've been in their orbit enough times for them to be like, okay, like, they either have good taste or they have like a good vibe, because they're obviously here and not starting any trouble, causing any problems. Then I think that the connection will be easier to make. But also, I think there's nothing wrong with like a good like comment on someone's thing. Like, I mean, I think I'm talking about like creatives in specific,
and like showing support in their work. Yeah.
And again, not wanting anything in return. I think just like, being outright and being like, this is cool. I don't think we do that enough. I think.
Yeah. I don't think so either. I think also, sorry.
I think a like is way different than a comment.
Yeah, comment. It's like you're showing. It's just that next step.
Just that next step.
You're showing appreciation. But I agree with you. I also think that we're very like to our own. We like our own comfort. So we end up kind of, even me, like, I was born and raised in Melbourne. For a long time, before I got into the creative space, it's the same group of people that I know day in, day out. Like, obviously my family, and then I've just got my friends. I'm not really exploring and finding new people.
Yeah.
So I think there's that side of Melbourne where people that are from here kind of have their lives already happening. And for them, it feels like, where am I going to find these new people? How am I going to step out of my comfort zone? If I see someone, might see them at an event, say hi, and then finding that time to go and see them again regularly is hard.
Definitely.
So there's that. But then I also think Melbourne has a lot of people that come from interstate now, especially not older, but like, you know, people that are out of uni and they want to come and just explore their jobs or creativity. It just seems like it's Melbourne and Sydney are like those cities that, you know, more is happening.
Agreed.
So knowing that, I feel like there are people also looking for friends. And, you know, I've had other dilemmas that have been sent in saying I struggle to make friends in this city. There are events like Soji I mentioned to you before, where a lot of people are going and they're meeting so many people there. So I think it's a bit about being proactive a little bit.
Definitely.
And you'll find, even me, when I first got into the creative scene, you'll find your, like, you know, people that are a bit shady, people that want to, and not to say that's everyone, but and that's any scene. I don't think it's just the creative scene, but you'll always find people that it's very transactional. They want to be friends with you for a reason, or they might not be interested in you because you don't have anything to offer them. And then you move on to the next. And what I find is, if you're just genuine and you stay true to like yourself and the type of people you want to be around, you just kind of attract those people.
Agreed.
It might take time, but I think just going to the spaces you want to be in more often, like you said, is a really good idea. And then just slowly like putting yourself out there and then gravitating towards those people.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. As soon as you go to enough things and stuff, and like, you'll start feeling like that space is your space.
Facts.
And instead of you like feeling like you're going up to meet someone whose space this belongs to, you'll be on equal footing.
Yeah.
And it'll feel less awkward for you, and you'll like stop perceiving or perceive less of their actions as like intimidating or standoffish, I think.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
100%. But making friends as an adult is already hard.
so hard.
It's so hard. It's
I don't
it's
know. Like I'm assuming it's hard. It's hard for women too, but like for males, it's very, very hard.
yeah, I
Like,
know. I feel like
Yeah.
that's another conversation I want to get into with like a guy as well. Just men making new friends and preserving friendships. Because I
Yeah.
feel like women, it's so organic to us to just call each other and be like, hey, what do you like? A random conversation turns into a DNM and it's very casual. Guys, I feel like they don't have that space yet. Or I don't know if I just feel like I don't see a lot of men being able to go deep into conversation about things.
I agree. I mean, I find myself lucky because me and my homies, like,
You do that?
we live there. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
good.
I make music with these people. Like, I know, like, deep parts of themselves. So it's like there's less of a barrier there. But I think I've always noticed, because I don't really fuck with sports like that, because I'm like, I've got my thing and it's not sports.
Yeah.
So I think people use sports as a proxy for closeness and for just something to rally around.
100%. I've
and then
seen, yeah.
kind of, it like handballs to something else, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I also think that it's like, I'm not gonna say lazy, but it's just like it's always gonna be more shallow than you might need it to.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just they need to push past the like discomfort.
Yeah,
I don't know.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
But yeah, to this person, I hope you got something out of that answer. To people that want to send in your dilemmas, please send them through all the links in the bios on all our social channels. So it's bittersweet.podcast. IJALE? Well, Jerry. What do people address you as? IJALE or Jerry?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Some people like just call me IJALE on the street, and that feels awesome. But also,
Yeah.
if you know me, just call me Jerry.
Just call you Jerry. So can I call you Jerry?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm gonna call you.
definitely.
Jerry, thank you so much for jumping on. It's
Thank
been a
you.
pleasure.
Pleasure. Yeah, I had so much fun. Thank you.
Let people know where they can find you on socials.
Yes. My name is IJALE, IJALE. You can find me on IJALE Official on all the places. Also on all the streaming platforms, because every stream counts. Yeah.
Period. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, comment, like, give us a rating on Spotify, and I will see you guys again next week. Bye.